This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition. This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Roll-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the Minister of Health on Grand Bahama today getting a progress report on work underway on this island's premier healthcare facility that sustained major damage in September. Dr. Dwayne Sands and a team were able to assess other areas of the Grand Bahama Health Services and announce changes to come on stream in the coming weeks. Italia Hall reports.
The IIT Clinic, which once housed the outpatients clinic, has been renovated since Hurricane Dorian. Minister of Health, the Honorable Dwayne Sands, says as of Monday, December 16th, the administrative teams will be moved out of the tents into the IIT building. The outpatient clinic will also resume services on Monday, which will alleviate the pressure placed on the clinic located in the Paris Plaza since the hurricane. And as it relates to the Rand Memorial Hospital,
there's been a significant movement in terms of the demolition. Now, what we have found is that in this very old building, there's some termite damage, there's some old rusty pipes, and so on and so forth. I want to assure the public, I've been walking around with the minister who used to be, and probably still is, a very competent and qualified engineer, and we will not do anything that will in any way compromise the safety of our people.
Mold remediation will also be carried out.
The operating room, the recovery room, the central sterile surgical supply area, there is not a whole lot of work to be done, but it is a part of the entire remediation project. So we are now standing in the area where we will place a temporary operating room and recovery room. And so in very short order, probably in January, we believe that elective surgery can once again start at the Rand Memorial Hospital.
Sands says he is grateful for all of the help received from international organizations, including the Samaritan's Purse.
That facility, people talk about the temperature at night, and we are attempting to mitigate that with space heaters and blankets and so on and so forth. But God bless them. They have made it possible to continue acute care in Freeport. Very soon, some services will be able to be explanted from Samaritan's Purse and put back into the renovated Rand Memorial Hospital.
He says the total cost of the repairs will be around some $20 million, some in cash and some in kind.
We have equipment that has already arrived on the ground, and as early as next week, we hope to have a ceremony to accept new modular facilities for both Grand Bahama and Abaco. So as we look at the value of this remediation, it's in the millions of dollars. When all of the accounting is done and the zeros added and the periods noted, then we'll be able to say it cost exactly this amount. The Ministry of Health has agreed to have all of the donations for health audited, and we will present that audited report once it's complete.
Now, the minister says the hospital is a priority for the government and work will continue throughout the holidays to ensure that the hospital is fully functional before the next hurricane season. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Well, the East End Clinic was also damaged by Hurricane Dorian, and since the passing of Hurricane Dorian, health services are being provided under a tent. But the Minister of Health says that tent will be replaced by a modular structure in January of next year.
Believe that facility is either in Grand Bahama or is about to be shipped to Grand Bahama. We also have identified similar modular facilities for McLean's Town and the Keys in the eastern part of Grand Bahama, just like we have done for Moores Island, Treasure Key, and other places. So there are many moving parts. We are trying to coordinate this to ensure that nothing gets missed or lost.
He also adds that the government has accepted a donation for the construction of a new clinic in High Rock that will service the East End District.
That is now in the process of being designed to get architectural renderings to be costed, put out to bid, etc., and then built. So we anticipate that there will be a consolidation of the number of clinics in Grand Bahama, but an expansion of the services provided as we increase home care, transportation to move patients back and forth, and so on. Never waste a crisis. And so we didn't ask for Dorian, but Dorian removed a lot of the structures, infrastructure, and they say when you serve lemons, make lemonade. So we're going to make the most of this and improve the level and quality of services provided to the people of Abaco and Grand Bahama as a result of Dorian.
Switching gears now, a town hall meeting was held last evening at the New Life Worship Center on Coral Road to address residents' concerns in the Marco City constituency. Those in attendance heard from Member of Parliament for the area, Michael Pintard, who shared plans for the way ahead. Jamila Mizik has more.
Residents of Marco City gathering for a town hall meeting hosted by Member of Parliament for the area, the Honorable Michael Pintard. Minister Pintard noting that the meeting was intended to share information with residents with respect to what they have been doing since the hurricane and the way forward.
What specific things we intend to do to address the main concerns in Marco City. 1, the return of businesses and commerce. 2, how do we get persons back in their homes and assist them where we can with the repairs of their home. 3, to meet ongoing needs. Persons still have a need for water, still have a need for food, and as we get supplies, we intend to distribute. Some persons are dealing with insurance-related issues, where matters are not being managed properly by an institution or a financial institution that has had their mortgage. And we want to walk them through steps they must take to make sure their rights are respected.
He says they're also giving assistance to senior citizens who need transportation.
Whether it's to the hospital, to NIB, to the grocery store, we intend to run that service. We are still delivering every day hot meals. We want to make sure that there are no areas that we're neglecting. In addition, we want to make sure all the differently abled persons in our community who are incapacitated, if we've missed them, this is the kind of forum where you say, listen, you haven't been to my house, here are the issues. So this meeting is in addition to the door-to-door that we're doing on a regular basis to make sure that we understand what the challenges are and we are responsive to those challenges.
Now, Chief Councillor Kendall Culmer says, like many others, local government too was affected by the storm, but he says the council is there to serve the best way that they can.
We've lost our entire office, our vehicles, our materials, our tools. So local government itself is trying to get things together, and we're looking for 2020 to be a good year in terms of restoring Marco City back to the level that you're used to. There are damages on some of the parks. A lot of the landscaping contractors themselves lost their equipment, and so we're trying our best in the new year to get the parks up to par.
Now, Minister Pintard says he will continue to hold regular community meetings to address constituents' concerns. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, tomorrow will be a big day for Grand Bahama's tourism industry as it will mark the return of Sunwing Air Service out of Toronto, Canada. The flight is expected to touch down around 1 p.m. with close to 200 passengers on board. Sunwing will be the first major international flight to arrive on Grand Bahama since Superstorm Dorian. Passengers are expected to be accommodated at the newly reopened Viva Club Fortuna all-inclusive resort, and Sunwing is also expected to provide weekly flights to Grand Bahama through April of next year. Meantime, Bahamas Air resumes its scheduled international service from Freeport and Marsh Harbor this Sunday. Passengers traveling out of Freeport are advised that check-in for all flights have been relocated to the fixed-based operation building at the Grand Bahama International Airport. Passengers holding tickets are asked to make their way to this building for check-in, and incoming passengers can be picked up on the arrival side at that location as well. Now, passengers are also reminded that persons wishing to travel to Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach must present a valid U.S. visa for processing by U.S. authorities upon arrival in Florida. Passengers wishing to travel to Florida from the islands without a U.S. visa will have to transit through Nassau. Passengers are also reminded to arrive for check-in 2 hours prior to departure for all flights. Domestic flights are closed for check-in 45 minutes before departure, and international flights close 90 minutes prior to departure. Passengers in Freeport wishing to purchase tickets for future travel can do so at the Holiday Auto Building and the City Ticket Office located at Culmerville Plaza, downtown Freeport. In the case of Marsh Harbor, passengers wishing to purchase tickets can do so at the airport. Tickets can also be purchased at their website, and that is www.bahamasair.com. Switching gears now, it is a popular hangout spot, particularly on the weekends. But tonight, operators of Port Lucaya Marketplace say they will not be entertaining unaccompanied minors, and parents better take heed. Port Lucaya is not a nursery or drop-off point for parents to leave their children unsupervised. This statement coming from Director of Security at Port Lucaya Marketplace, Ivan Moss. He says they have already partnered with the police to ensure that if and when this happens, children are escorted to the police station and these issues become a legal matter. Moss claims that they are being forced to do this because he says it seems as if parents do not understand that leaving children unsupervised can be dangerous.
They drop them off, they be smoking black and mild, swearing, drinking, and sometimes they find some men who would go inside a bar, purchase drink for them, because the bartender in Port Lucaya doesn't serve underage children. But you have men going, and women too, go in the bar, purchase a drink, pass over the kids, and sometimes the only way we know is when they warm it in the guts around the place.
Moss is adamant that children are also wreaking havoc on the adults visiting Port Lucaya by cursing, swearing, and even fighting. He says there is also the concern of sexual predators who can be lurking around at any time.
Most every week we be stopping a fight with kids. We take away a knife away from them. We just take away a dagger. We had to turn that one over to the police. Then we had a 10-year-old was approached by a 30-something-year-old man. A little girl, a man walking her, hold her by her face and kiss her in the mouth. She had the guardians was right there and that was with her help. But what happened when when the parents or guardian is not in place?
But then he admits that sometimes parents who accompany their children can be just as bad as those who don't.
You drop your kids off, the kids don't know exactly where to find you when it's time to need. Sometimes the kids say, I'm going to expose you. My mommy went across by the hotel. Where your daddy? My daddy to work. Overtime, we just have to do right here trying to take your people's children. We're not responsible. Where's your mommy? She in the bar. Why you out here? She tell me go play. Kids walking on the dock can't swim. One of the next biggest problem is kids right here in the marketplace when we caught them in some kind of funny act. Get to find out they're sleepovers. Always sleepover. And their parents don't know where the kids are. Be careful who your children sleeping over with. We've been finding them in an uncompromising position and a sexual position what is very bad. Them two is turning over to police. I talking with kids, 11, 12.
Moss charges that there is also a young man persuading parents that he has an escort service where they can drop kids off and he will be responsible for them in Port Lucaya. He says this too is dangerous, as just this week, a child who was supposed to be in his care was left abandoned.
Well, the kid, the 13-year-old, was under his guardians. When we escorted him to the station, when we was coming back home, me and that officer, we ran into him, and he said he admit that's what he does. He would get the parents to believe in him that he could be a guardian for the children, take them in Port Lucaya. That's some business he trying to do off his own.
Shashina Rolf-Arkeson, ZNS. Well, as we go to break tonight, we bring you the sights of the city of Freeport coming alive again with a display of Christmas lights.